Well, another Junkanoo group facing a major setback ahead of the upcoming Junkanoo parades. The group suffering over $20,000 in losses as a result of Hurricane Matthew's fury. We get their story tonight from KARISSMA Robinson.
Starting over from scratch is never easy, but it's absolutely necessary for members of the Music Makers Junkanoo group. The group that centers on community building is celebrating 40 years of existence. So throwing in the towel after losing all of its completed lead costumes in the passage of Hurricane Matthew is absolutely not on the table.
This particular shop housed one of our lead costumes. The damages were done here extensively with the plywood ripped off from the front, the top, and the sides, all the doors here. And we have a lot of water damage on the actual costume itself in here. Again, we're talking about starting pieces from scratch. The same thing on the shock on the end. The tar paper and everything was ripped off from the top. Water damage on the costumes. Again, once the water wet cardboard, it began to tear. So a lot of the pieces are no more good. So again, it's almost like, wow, could we start over?
Although devastated, the plan now is to regroup and start over. But in order to start over, the group says it will need major assistance from the public. Its leader, Keith Mason, is hoping that some of the assistance that has been offered to the two major Junkanoo groups will somehow trickle down to his group.
Like the businessmen and the politicians, they all lock in on these two groups. What about the prodigals, the music makers, Roots, and the other groups out here who are trying to keep communities together by just coming to Bay Street? We are not here only to come out to Junkanoo events, but we are here trying to help in the community, keep young men and women off the streets. So it goes way deeper than coming to Bay Street when you see us sacrifice our time and our efforts to come to the shack and build costumes. We're keeping young men and women, intact. And without this type of unity in the community, who knows where some of them will end up.
Assistant Public Relations Officer ALPHONZO says the group does not get the recognition that it deserves as one of the only groups without major sponsorship.
We've been coming to Bay Street with all the odds and decks stacked against us, and with Hurricane Matthew coming on, it sends us further back. And God is above, and there are a lot of people from this area who are doing very well in the business community. They've never answered any of our plights, and we're just hoping that at this time they can step forward and help us in our endeavors, because this is where a lot of them really began their success, and we're hoping that they will give back at this time when the music makers is most vulnerable.
The next few weeks will be challenging as members of the group struggle to pick up the pieces. But they say, come what may, they will make it to Bay. KARISSMA Robinson, ZNS Network News.